All right, lesson 7.7, finding the percent of a number. This is not difficult. Let's look at page 336. Look at the sample. It says find 40% of $32. Listen, what does the word of mean in math? Of means multiply, right? Of means multiply. I know you know that. So when it says find 40% of $32, it means 40% times 32. There's two ways of doing this. There's two ways of doing this. One is to write it as a fraction. You can always change percents to fractions, right? And how do you change a percent to a fraction? It's pretty simple. What do you do, Sladen? No. How do you change it to a fraction? How do you change a percent to a fraction, Jonathan? No. We're changing it to a fraction. How do I go right from a percent to a fraction? It's so simple, Michael. Put it over 100. So it's 40 over 100 times 32 over 1. Right? It's that simple. Can I reduce anything?
Yes.
Can I reduce anything else? 64 fifths. What do I do with that thing? No, I have to divide it, right? I have to divide it. It comes out to 12 and 4/5, which we're talking about dollars, though. Remember, it's 40% of $32. So then what do I have to do? I have to turn the 4/5 into a decimal, right? Turn to a decimal. What is 4/5? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
4/5.
What is it, Sladen? No. 4/5 is 80, right? So it's $12.80 is our answer. Head up. Make sense? Okay. What about this? What if I have a $40 shirt that's 20% off? Okay? I have a $40 shirt that's 20% off. If I wanted to ask you, how much is the shirt now? You tell me what I need to do. What do I need to do? If it is 20% off, what do I need to do to figure this out? Isn't this a common thing? You go to the mall and you see there's a big sign that says 20% off and you have to, What do I do? Don't I need to know what 20% of 40 is? Don't I need to know what 20% of the original price is? Right? So you go, 20% of 40. 20% of $40 is, okay, how do I write this? What do I do?
You put
20 over 100 times 40 over 1. Can I start reducing things? Divide by 20, divide by 20. That's a 5, that's a 1. Can I reduce anything else?
Yeah.
Divide by 5, divide by 5. This is a 1, this is an 8. It ends up being 8. So listen, what is 8? 8 shirts?
No, $8.
$8. Off. That's how much it is off. Is that the answer? If you gave me $8, I would mark you wrong. Why? Is that what I asked? Did I ask you how much off it was? What was the question? How much is the shirt now? So then what do I have to do? If it's $8 off, $8 off of what? 40, the original price. How much is the shirt now? 32, right? 40 minus 32. Oops, 40 minus 8 is 32. That's our new price, right? Makes sense? Try this then. Try one for me. It's a some $60 shoes is 30% off. I want to know how much, number one is how much is the discount. Wow, my handwriting is awful right now. Discount, and number two is how much how much are the shoes?
What's the discount mean?
How much off is it? Okay, so here's the deal. 60%. Sorry, $60. $60 shoes. Does this make sense? I mean, are you wrapping your brain around this? I mean, do you ever go to the store and see some shoes that are $60 that, ooh, there's a sign that says 30% off? Isn't that something that could easily happen to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Isn't this a common everyday life thing that could happen? Yeah. Momo? Walk in the store, shoes are $60. Ooh, 30% off. What do I have to do? Momo, help me out. What do I need to do? Tell me, what do I need to do? What did you do? Is it going to be more expensive or less expensive?
Less.
How much less? 30%. Okay. So you got to find out what is 30%, right? 30% of 60. You need to know what 30% of 60 is. How do I write this? 30 over 100. 30% times, of means times, 60 over 1. Can I reduce anything?
Yes.
Divide by 10, divide by 10. This becomes a 10, this becomes a 3. Can I reduce anything else? Divide by 10, divide by 10. That's a 1, that's a 6. 3 times 6 is 18. What's 18? What is 18? 18 shoes?
$18 off.
$18 off. If that's the discount. It's $18 is the discount. $18 is how much the discount is, how much off it is. How much are the shoes now? How much total are the shoes? Well, what do? You subtract it from the original 60. 60 minus 18, 42. The shoes now cost $42. How many of you got both those? Okay. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Make sense, Donna? Okay. What if I was to ask you this? What if I was to say 25% of 20? Try and do that one in your head. How can I do 25%? What could I use that would make 25% be something that's easily usable in my brain? 1/4, right? You could change 25% to 1/4. You should be able to do that in your head, right? 25% is 1/4. And 1/4 of 20 means that it's 1/4 times 20, which means that it's 20 divided by 4. Do you see that? It's going to end up being 20 over 4. Do you agree?
Yes.
And then 20 over 4 is just 5. You want to be able to do that in your head if you can, right? That's the kind of thing that would be really good for you if you could do that kind of thing mentally, right? Try one in your head mentally. Well, I know you can do this one. I mean, this is so easy. What is 50% of 40? What's 50% of 40? 20. What 50% is? Half. Half of 40 is 20. You know that, right? That's something that's straightforward. You get that. Okay. What about 75% of 24? 75% of 24. In your head. What would half be? What would half of 24 be? 12, right? So think of this. Look, I want you to think of this right now. If I was to take my number line, and here's 0 and here's 1, right? And here is, and also, let's just take the number 24. Let's take this right here and say this is 24 pieces, right? 3/4 is not, it's not half, but do you agree that it's exactly halfway between 1/2 and 1? Do you agree with that? Do you agree that 3/4 is halfway between 1/2 and 1? Right? So then, if I have the number 24 down here, what's the halfway point of 24? 12. And if this is 24, what's the halfway point between 12 and 24? Oh. So then 3/4 of 24 is 18. That's the kind of thing if you can do in your head, it's awesome. I mean, at least, you know, that's a nice little tool you have if you can do that. Make sense? Okay. The other type of way, another way you can do this, I don't generally do it this way, but another way of doing this, if I have, 22% of 50, here's the deal. Another way you can do this is to convert this not to a fraction, but convert it to a decimal. What is 22% as a decimal? 0.22 times 50. And now you have to go, okay, 0.22 times 50. You see why I wouldn't like this? I mean, there's a lot more chance for mistakes. If you have a calculator in your hand, turning it to a decimal is probably the best because a calculator deals with decimals real easy. Does a calculator deal with fractions really easy? Not really. 0, 0, 0, 10, 11. Move the decimal over 2, so it's 11. Yes?
Couldn't you do 22 times 50 and then since you know it's a decimal, you move 2 over?
Yep. You could. Any other questions? Your homework. You excited to get it?
No.
Yeah.
Possibly maybe,
6 to 27, so it's page 338, 6 through 27 even, and 36 to 40 even.